what haven't we covered that we think would be wise to cover here?
I think the biggest thing there's two more myths. So if we want to just hit those really fast, so fasting leads to nutrition deficiencies, and then you have to fast for at least 16 plus hours to see benefits. Can we wrap both of those into one topic and maybe lean into just redefining fasting and intermittent fasting? Because that's like the difference that I'm seeing there.
Yeah, so let's start with kind of this myth that like when you are fasting that you are deprived of your nutrients. Now, there needs to be a conversation here. Let's just talk really quickly about extended fasting. I'm talking like 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days. I'm recommending that for almost no one, right? Unless you have some, unless you need to be in autophagy. If you don't know what the word autophagy is, it was the Nobel Peace Prize was won in 2016 by a Japanese doctor who discovered that autophagy, when you're in a state of fasting, what happens is your body has its own waste disposal system for malignant cells, folded protein, or prerequisite tumorous, cancerous cells can be eaten up through this thing called autophagy. Okay, I'm not here prescribing anything or telling you what to do. I'm just saying autophagy, AUTOPHAGY, is a huge benefit of a prolonged fast if you're somebody who needs and desires a cleanup, right? I've done it one time for 7 days. I did it for more spiritual reasons than I did for nutrition reasons, but I can attest that all the inflammation in my body went away. I was in deep lipolysis. I was in ketosis. I never felt better after I got over kind of the first 2 days of the hunger waves. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying I have done that for 7 days. And really for 14 days, I introduced very, very light calories for day 8 through 15. I've done it. I know the benefits of it. I can speak to it. It's not for everybody. It's almost for nobody. And so I don't want you running away from this podcast saying, oh, DK told me to go do an extended fast. I'm not saying that. My recommendation is that everybody should consider, like biologically, everybody should have a 12-hour period every day where they're not eating. And it should be overnight for most of us. Okay, it should be from 8 p.m., where your dinner's at 8 p.m., you don't eat a ton of carbohydrates, you go to bed at 10 p.m., you wake up, and then you eat breakfast the next day at 8 or 9 p.m. and give your body the break so that you can reintroduce a natural cycle of ghrelin, leptin, CCK. Your hunger hormone cycles leptin can start to have a voice again. Leptin is the I'm full hormone. Like, give it a voice. Like, let it tell you that you don't need to eat 24/7. Stop letting ghrelin, the hunger hormone, take over and convince yourself that you're hungry all the time. But short-term fasting like this, not extended fasting, short-term fasting doesn't erase your micronutrient status. Especially when you're getting all of your calories in your window, right? Like I said, get your calories in your window. This isn't a nutrient deprivation. This is just a calorie restriction. So ideal body weight in grams of protein, and then work with your fats, work with your carbs, go to your focus meetings if you're a Burn Bootcamp member, and start to dial in based on your total daily energy expenditure, something you can easily look up online right now, TDEE calculator on the internet. Find out how many calories you burn a day, and then have a 200 to 500 calorie deficit. It's a very simple calculation, but it is a calculation. All right, and if you want to stay strong and you want to gain muscle, then you need to intake your protein, okay? Listen, nutrients are stored, like I already talked about. Food is stored as in the liver, it's stored in the muscle, and it's stored as fat. So when you get into that lipolysis state, that is your body breaking down fat to reverse engineer the triglyceride back into nutrients for your body. Follow me?
Yep.
So you're not nutrient deprived when you get into lipolysis. You're actually breaking down stored fat and reverse engineering that back into glycogen, which is stored carbohydrate ultimately. And your body has the ability to maintain energy even when you're in lipolysis. And like I said, your protein, I said this earlier, protein intake, your body's very efficient at using protein. it's almost darn near impossible for you to eat too much protein that your body can't handle.
So really at the end of the day, like if you're listening to this, just to make sure I'm understanding this, Devin, if I am just struggling to understand if I should fast, if I should intermittent fast, I just need to understand my goals and the intentionality behind it and making sure that I need to understand my goal. I think it's like a work back. Why would I be doing this? Maybe it's because I have a busy schedule. I'm eating all the time. I'm consuming maybe too many calories. So this could be a tool that I put in my toolbox to help me understand when I should be eating and really condense the amount of calories I'm putting in my body. Like, is that at the end of the day, like there's one headline.
Yeah.
That's what we want to drive home.
Yeah. What is your goal?
Yeah, what is your goal?
Why would you do this in the first place? Have intentionality. Is it to lose weight? That's a great goal. I'm not opposed to that goal. Is it because you feel bloated when you eat food? That's probably because you have sensitivity to insulin, and when you go into a fasting window, you actually improve your insulin sensitivity, right? And then your body is able to absorb and store nutrients more effectively if you're not feeding all the time. It could be because you're overeating. It could be because you're addicted to sugar and you want to stop being addicted to sugar. It could be because you're busy and you need to figure out a strategy to shorten the amount of time that you have to actually think about food. It could be because you're psychologically burnt out over food. It could be because, you know what, I just want to feel better, and this is something that I need to experiment with and try. There's so many ways, so many reasons, so many goals that somebody can come to in which would introduce them to this overnight fasting, intermittent fasting protocol, or not, or actually say, you know what, I don't feel good when I fast or intermittent fast, and that's okay too. That's okay too. There's no right or wrong answer here, but I hate being in the middle like that. But what I will say is you don't know unless you don't experiment.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's worth it for you if you are having any issues, if you feel like there's a gap or a void or your nutrition is incomplete or there's more you could be doing. If you just have these feelings, this would be one thing that I would look into because it definitely has helped me for sure. I would promote it from a personal perspective. I would not promote it from a 24-hour, 48-hour, 36 or longer perspective. I will do that once every year for 7 days for more spiritual purposes than anything else and to give my body a reset, mostly to get into autophagy where I'm eating. My body is literally eating its bad cells. There's a long-term health benefit to that, but that is a very advanced way to go about it and something that you should not do unless you are under the supervision of somebody who knows what they're doing and you have plenty of electrolytes, because at that point you are depriving your body of its micronutrients, and you need to be on certain protocols in order to do so. But from an intermittent standpoint, a day-to-day standpoint, maybe one 24-hour fast 1 day a week is even a way to look at it. There's a lot of optionality in there for you, and you just never know what could click with you. So if you're someone struggling, this is a giant trial and error experimentation for you.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, you helped me a lot, so thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Great questions today. I hope you guys enjoyed